Hello and welcome to Sunday Run Day, the podcast. If you did check out on Instagram, I did mention that episode 12 was going to be delayed. The reason being is currently me and Clara are in Europe and we are traveling here to compete in the Iceland Volcano Marathon, which we did carry out last weekend. Now, unfortunately, due to travel schedule and time, I didn't have the time to be able to record the podcast last week after the marathon. I really wanted to, but first I was pretty tired after the marathon, but also the time and the schedule of things that we were doing in Iceland, just didn't have the time to actually record it. So I thought, what better than I just delay it for a week, and then I get to record it while I'm here, back in the UK, back in London, and I get to record the podcast. So a little bit of nostalgia as well, coming back to London and seeing some of the sights with Clara. So yeah, it's been a really good holiday and we really enjoyed the run. So of course, on this episode, I'm going to talk about the Iceland Volcano Marathon, what me and Clara just went over to Iceland to carry out, and just how much fun we actually had. And the first thing I will mention is what I love about Albatross Adventure Marathons is they are small groups of runners. Very limited places for people to carry out these runs, because it's not just about the marathon, it's about visiting that country and traveling around as well. And me and Clara were super lucky to be able to travel around Iceland and see so many things, so many really cool things about Iceland, and got to see different aspects. It's not just going over, just do the marathon itself, it was to go over and see Iceland. So that was super impressive and super cool, and I love that about Albatross, and so much so that we get to meet a group of runners that very much like-minded people that are going over, traveling and going over there to run a marathon, or the half marathon distance, or even the quarter marathon distance that they had on there as well. And it was great to spend that time with people. You end up spending, sort of 6 days with the same group of people. You get to meet them, you get to hear their stories, you get to hear their reasons for running, and something that I spoke about on the podcast so much that I love. I love to hear people's stories. I love to hear people why they started running, why they continue to run, and I certainly can say I have some incredible stories. I've met some amazing people, and I'd like to, just a big shout out to everyone that was involved in the Iceland Volcano Marathon. They are just a truly special people, and me and Clara for sure, really enjoyed our time with you guys and just had an incredible time. And yeah, thank you all for making it such a special occasion, a special event. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about both. I'll talk about the marathon itself, but also about what Albatross do, because I feel Albatross Adventure Marathons do such an incredible job of not only organising the event, but organising the trip and the tours that we do. So me and Clara were lucky enough that we arrived a little bit earlier in Iceland. We wanted to do a couple things in the capital of Reykjavik, just because we've never been there before, and sometimes you never know when you're going to go back. So we wanted to spend a bit of time in Reykjavik, and we did, and we enjoyed some sightseeing there and had a lot of fun. And then we actually, on the day before a lot of the group come together, we went on a pre-tour of the Golden Circle, which again, the Golden Circle tour was amazing. We got to see geysers, we got to see waterfalls. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Like, Iceland is a super impressive country. The nature there is amazing, and the stories that we've been told over the course of the days were just incredible, and something we really enjoyed. So we met a few people there and started talking to a few individuals, but then the next day is where more of the group come together, where we were travelling from Reykjavik all the way up to the north, and we stopped in the capital of Akureyri before we went over to Mytafam. Now we went into Akureyri, where we had the race briefing, which was in such a cool location. It was in this air base, and they had these older aeroplanes and helicopters. It was really cool just to look around and have a lot of fun with that. And yeah, meet more people and just meet everyone from the race. And then you started seeing people that were doing the marathon, people doing the half marathon and the quarter marathon, and you just started to really come together. And I love that. I love the running community coming together and hearing stories from everyone, because like I say, we all have a story and we all have reasons why we run, and we all have different goals and different aspects of our runs, and it was just great to hear that and spend that time. So yeah, we met some really incredible people there. I really would love to share some of their stories on the podcast. I won't dive too much into some of them, because some of those stories are just amazing, and they deserve to have their own episode. They deserve to have the time to discuss their stories, and as always, I'm trying to evolve the podcast, and hopefully I'll get some people on the show as well, so it's not only just me that you're looking at and hearing. So they deserve to have their story, and I really want to ask them and have them on the podcast, and as I said, some amazing stories. So to say, yeah, we ended up going into the north, and Mytafam was where we were doing the run. Now the day before the race, which was really cool, was we had what they called the Mytafam Highlights Tour. So we kind of went around Mytafam, we've seen some different aspects, but also places that we were running. And that was really cool. Like, I thought, how cool is it that we get to see a little bit of preview of the course that we're running before? and we got to see the volcano. Kind of what we're all there for, right? We're all there to run around this volcano and up the volcano. And thankfully, it's not an active volcano. I think they said it, hasn't been active for quite some time. I did joke a little bit like, well, maybe it's due. Maybe we're all here now, and maybe we might get some rumblings as we're running. But thankfully, everything was perfect, and we super enjoyed it. So yeah, the day before, we're just kind of there checking out the route, and then we're going up the volcano. So as you're walking up this volcano, you just realize how steep it is, and kind of thinking to yourself, well, how am I going to run this tomorrow? I'm never going to be able to run the whole way up there, because it gets, once you get towards the top, it gets really steep for a few areas, and you're thinking that once I start running, like, I'm just going to be very slow running. I just fast walk until you get to the top and then start running. So you kind of like start to think to yourself of how you're going to do this, how you're going to be. But then just the excitement comes in, right? We start to get really excited about the race, and talking about everyone and everyone's goals and everyone's what they're expecting from the race. And a lot of us, we just didn't know. For me and Clara personally, we don't do trail runs. We don't do hills. Like in Melbourne, it is flat. Our training is flat. We don't run up hills. We don't go on trail runs. We're road runners, and we love that. And I love that aspect. So we didn't know what to expect. We seen the person that won it the year before was like 3 hours 35. So straight away, I'm thinking this is a tough course. This is, I think it was like an Icelandic athlete that done 3 hours 35. So straight away, you're just like, she's super impressive. So there's no way I'm doing 3:35. Like, that must be a really tough course. So straight away, you're just kind of, you look at the course map, you look where the elevation is, and some areas where you think you can run faster, and just go, I'm just going to go out there and enjoy it. This whole thing about this event, what I love the most about Albatross is the enjoyment. And it's like everyone is just there to enjoy it and have fun. Yeah, some people like myself, I love to run fast, so I'm always going to push myself. I'm always going to try and do it as quick as I can. And there's other people that just really just love to run and be there and be in the atmosphere. And I love that. I love that we have all those different people. It's just awesome. So race day approaches us. Me and Clara wake up early, we have our breakfast, we go for our normal routine, and then the bus drops us there at the base of the volcano where we started the race. So you kind of get those nerves and the jitters, and you're super excited though. And everyone's there, we're all all kind of building each other up and wishing each other luck and saying like, just enjoy it, go out, have fun. The marathon runners, the half marathon runners, the quarter marathon runners, we're all there to have fun. And we're just looking at this course going, this is going to be great. So the race starts, me and Cara, we're lucky enough, we're just right at the front there, and I just start going. I'm just like, I feel good, I'm just going to see how I feel. So much so, I got the first kilometre, and I seen the time on the first kilometre, and I was like, yeah, you need to slow down there, Clint. That was a little too fast for the rest of the race that you've got, so just ease off a little bit. So I eased back and thought, don't push too much, I don't want to push the pace. So we're running along, and in the first few kilometres were just enjoyable. It was around different areas, and then we get to a lava filled area where we went the day before, and there's these like lava castles, and there are mentions like where Games of Thrones were filmed, and you see it, you really do. Once you're there, you kind of go like, I can see Games of Thrones being filmed here. And we're running through there, and I was running with another guy, and me and him were just there at the front and just running together, really enjoying it. I could hear someone behind me, and I kind of have a look back around about 4 kilometers, and I see it's Clara. I'm like, this is awesome, I love it. Clara's right there behind me, she's pushing herself, and I love that. So I was just enjoying that moment. For about 10k, me, Clara, and this other gentleman, we're all running at the front there and just enjoying it. We got to a point in the lava fields where it's really single file, so we're just kind of following each other. But then we get to this point in the lava fields where there's this hole in the lava field. It's like a circle. It's so cool. You go up these steps and you see this. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I seen Cara's behind me, so I knew there was a camera guy there. I was like, oh, how good is this? It's such a good opportunity. Me and Clara were going to get a photo together. It's going to be a great photo. I'm looking forward to it. So I kind of wait for Clara for just like a second, help her up, thinking, photo, yeah. I'm all there like, yeah, we're happy to get a photo. And Clara is so focused, she just runs straight past. She kind of waves at the camera and she is just gone. And I'm just starting laughing. I'm just like, I thought it was a great opportunity to get a photo together, but no, Clara was focused. She was in the zone and she was just going. So yeah, that was a funny moment. I love that. As we carried on running, and then just before we got back to the base of the volcano, it opened up and the road got wider. So I was, I'm just gonna push the pace. I'm feeling good, I'm happy. So I push the pace and I get to the volcano and start going up the volcano. And I'm lucky here at the moment, I'm the first person there, and I'm just like, this is so cool. Like, I'm the first person going to the volcano and by myself at the second. And as I sort of push up, I realize I get about 3/4 of the way, and I have to walk. And I thought this the day before, it gets so steep that when you're running, you're just going so slow anyway. You just conserve some energy, power walk up there, get to the top, and then start running again. And I was lucky there, just by myself, running around there. But the views were incredible. Like just taking everything in, looking around, seeing Lake Mittervan, seeing the crater, and I think it's about 1.6 kilometers around there. It was just phenomenal. So much fun. Run around a volcano, started coming down a volcano, and I started seeing some people coming up the volcano, and we sort of high-fiving and wishing everyone the best of luck. It was such a cool experience. I love that. I love encouraging other people, and people encouraging me. It's such an amazing community. And just, high-fiving people. I get to the bottom of the volcano, see some of the Albatross crew, sort of wave at them and see how they're going. And we go out to this area, and, it's the terrain is changing. It's changing from volcanic sand. It's changed to like sort of grass and rocky areas. So cool. Like it's just awesome. So I started running, and I reckon for about 15 kilometers, I was just by myself. I didn't see anyone until I got to a water station where there was one of the Albatross crew there, and sort of said hello to them. A couple of times I stopped, got a little bit of water, and they actually gave like these really cool cups. So instead of having like bottled water or anything like, or disposable cups, we actually had a cup that we had to stop, grab a bit of water ourselves and drink it. And it's really cool, great for the environment, and obviously helping out with no rubbish in that area. It's it's a beautiful area, really well preserved. So it really helps making sure that we're looking after it as well, so other people can come and enjoy it. So that was really cool. And I didn't see anyone for about 15 kilometers, and then we had to do this out and back. And it's really cool with Albatross. Once you get to the out and back, they give you a wristband. So in the marathon, just to prove that you've gone there, they give you a wristband. You whack on the wristband and carry on running. And then I started seeing the guys that were just behind me, and then started seeing Clara, and all encouraging each other. And it was just super cool. It was a lovely moment just to see people. Then we get to the back to one of the aid stations where we just come down from sort of, like, as you're looking at the right-hand side, we're now heading off to the left. And it started flattening out. I felt good at this moment. It's around about 32 Ks. I'm feeling good. I'm pushing through. I'm at a couple quick Ks. I'm loving it. And I thought, time to get a gel. Try and keep refueling. I've had some water a little while ago. I'll grab a gel, refuel. So in my pockets, I have the gels in one of my sit pockets. So I look down, open the sit pocket, pull the gel out, not to drop anything. I had the cup in there at the time. Didn't want to drop that. Crack open the gel and start having it. And it looked like I was going dead straight. So I was feeling good. Pushing the pace, keep going. As I'm going dead straight, I hear some people, some noises behind me, and these guys are shouting, and I turn around, and I see these guys, and they are pointing at the top of the volcano. And straight away, I was like, I cannot believe it. I've not taken the right turn. I've veered off the course by about 400 meters. I have to now turn around and get back. So I turn around, and then it was up this volcano, so it's a pretty steep hill, and I get back to the bottom of the volcano. These guys are already at the top of the volcano, and I was so deflated. I was kind of like, in that moment, I've been lucky enough to be leading the race and just having fun, just enjoying my run, and then all of a sudden I go from first to fourth, and I just felt deflated, and it was a really tough hill as well, struggled to get out the top of that. Pulled myself together. I was like, right, get back into it, Clint. You've got about 10K to go. Just keep pushing, see how you go. Maybe you'll catch them. Maybe they're too far in front now. You've made a bit of a mistake. And maybe those guys also had a bit of a second wind, and they start pushing, going a bit faster as well. And maybe I didn't go as fast as them. So it was pushed on, carried on running, and just enjoying the run until to the end, the last 10Ks. And it was really good. It was really challenging, but it was really good. And we enjoyed the last 10Ks. Unfortunately, I didn't catch up to any of the guys, and I ended up finishing around about 3 hours 37, which I was really happy with. And as I say, last year's winner was 3 hours 35, and just so happens that this year's guys, they were running super well, amazing runners, and it was just great to see. I think the guy who done 3.5 hours, so he was absolutely phenomenal. So I even think with me going off course, he probably would have overtook me anyway. I was he was probably had a bit quicker, and he was pushing through there. So unfortunately, I didn't catch up to him, but then at the same time, I'm really fortunate. I still finished in such an amazing time. I was so happy, like 3 hours 37, finishing in fourth. It was so cool, and I loved it. But when I think about, and we talked about a lot of other people, about where I went wrong, a couple other people did as well. So I wasn't by myself. There, a couple other people did. Now I was lucky enough that these guys actually shouted at me and called me back. So it's only about 400 meters. Sort of half a, maybe in total 800 meters. Out and back to come back. but a couple other people, they ended up going a lot further, and then they got told to go back, and then they went back again, and they ended up probably doing about 2 kilometers more just in that section. And yeah, they got lost as well. So yeah, I kind of made me feel a little bit better. I wasn't by myself getting lost, but I felt sorry for them as well, like getting lost in such a cool race. And the race is really signposted pretty well. They had these flags around and they sort of show areas. So it was just, for me, it was just a mistake. I think it was just bad timing, right? Getting my gel, I was looking down, didn't look up and thinking it was just dead straight. Maybe if I didn't get the gel, I would have seen that it's to the right. Yeah, maybe I would have finished first. Maybe I still would have finished fourth. So I had a great time and enjoyed it. But Clara, going back to that, she ran phenomenal. She was running so well. She actually finished first overall for the women. I'm so happy for her. She is just running amazing lately, and just to win another event. She won the half marathon in Petra, and now she comes to Iceland. She wins the marathon. It's amazing. She got a lovely little plaque. She was first place. It was awesome. I was so happy for her. She ran really well. She mentioned that she had some struggles with the last 10K. So it's probably the toughest 10K she's ever done. And it definitely was the toughest marathon we've ever done. We're used to, as I say, we're used to kind of flat and fast marathons. Sydney Marathon was the toughest because of the heat as well for me, and kind of having that heat stroke. But actually feeling, really good at the moment, feeling really fit, healthy, feeling like I'm running it probably my best I've ever run. Only done a marathon, a couple months ago, and then to do this one in Iceland, it was amazing, but really challenging and really tough. And it was great to hear everyone else's experiences, talking to everyone. We had a celebration dinner, on the Sunday, and it was great to hear everyone's stories of how they done. And then there was a video, and I did share the video on Instagram. It's really worth watching. I'm lucky enough I'm in the video a couple of times, and so is Clara. And it was an amazing video just to see how the marathon is. So yeah, go check it out. Albatross Adventure Marathons. They put the video on there. I did share it on my story, but go and check it out on Albatross Adventure Marathons because it's an amazing video. And it does highlight some really cool aspects of it. Areas that you are by yourself. Areas of coming down the volcano, around the rim of the volcano. Super cool. And yeah, and the video finishes it with one of our friends. He was just there at the end, just right at the end of the video, crossing the finish line. Amazing. So all in all, what an experience, what an incredible run, and I really do a big shout out to Albatross Adventure Marathons. I think they do such a phenomenal job with the organisation. They look after you so well, from food to transport to making sure you're everywhere. They keep repeating the times they're going to pick you up. They're really good at checking in the hotel, make sure everyone's there on the bus. They're really well organised, super cool events, and there's so many cool events around the world. We've been lucky enough now to carry out 2, our first marathon with them after the half marathon last year, and I highly recommend them to anyone. They're different races. We've heard a lot of stuff. I mentioned about the Big 5 in a few episodes ago. A lot of Australians went over to do that, and I heard some people here in Iceland done the Big 5 and were saying how great it was. There was Greenland as well. We met a German couple that were amazing, and they'd done the Greenland Polar Circle Challenge, where they'd done a marathon one day and then a half marathon the next day. Hats off to them, incredible stuff. So yeah, check out Albatross because they're doing some amazing events. I highly recommend it. Like I mentioned in the last episode, where we try and combine traveling and running, and of course we love the majors. We love the major marathons, and being here in London, it definitely gives me that. Me and Clara's done a few runs in London, and been around the areas where they do the majors. We went down to the mall today for a 10K run, and being there gives you that feeling and really wanting to be here and come back to London to run the marathon and the majors. But also being traveling and running is amazing. I love just running itself. Like we've run a few runs in London here and seen the sights, and it's so cool. It's a great way of seeing the city, and I mentioned that in the last episode. But if you want to do an event, there is a really close-knit group. You meet some incredible people, everyone like-minded people that are traveling and running. Albatross is definitely a place to go and look at one of their races that they're doing around the world. They're headed to Greenland for their ultra marathon event over 3 days, like 150 kilometers over 3 days. Just phenomenal people that do that. Insane and amazing. And yeah, they do other ones. Just say there's Greenland, there's the Big 5 in South Africa. We've got Petra, do the Great War, and then yeah, this one here in the Iceland was just phenomenal. Me and Clara had an amazing time. I loved the run. I loved the I loved Iceland. It was, you know, amazing country, beautiful country. The only thing that me and Clara didn't love is the cold. Like, this is an Icelandic summer. It is cold. It is like a Melbourne winter. And yeah, I'm not a fan of the cold, but running conditions were great. It was a little cold, a little windy, but great running conditions. So that was also really cool. Yeah, we had an amazing time. I highly recommend it. And as I say, we met some amazing people that I really want to share their stories, and I will over the coming months. We're going to gather a few of those people together, and also with Petra coming up in September. I would love to get the Petra crew. We were lucky enough to meet Haroon in London here. He lives in London, so it was good to catch up with him after seeing him last year in Petra. And as I mentioned about Simon's story a few episodes ago, so it'd be good to get the Petra crew together and have a little chat about Petra and the challenges of that race. But all in all, Iceland has been amazing. We've had a great time traveling, and yeah, as I kind of release this episode now, this is our last day in London. We're heading back to Australia, the long flight back home, but it's been a great trip, and Iceland was an incredible run. I had a lot of fun doing it. As I mentioned, I can't talk highly about it as much as I do. I'm smiling when I talk about it. We had just phenomenal time, and it's also the people. I really think that the people make it. We had some amazing people, just great stories, and people there are all different journeys of their running journeys. There's people that have done some amazing things in their running journeys, carried out multiple marathons and done the majors, and even done a marathon in every continent. Like, that was incredible. And me and Clara were very young in our traveling as we, run around the world. We've only been able to do a couple runs in different areas, and we're kind of building on that, and we're loving it. We're loving that challenge of travel and running, and to hear these people that have run in every continent in the world is just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely hats off to them. Amazing people. I want to share their stories, and I will. I say they deserve a whole episode about them, and I'd love to get them on the show. I'm going to definitely evolve the podcast, and you're not only going to hear from me talking about their stories, but hopefully hear from them as well, because they have just amazing stories. And yeah, people from around the world, runners are amazing. So yeah, that's it for episode 12. Thank you for tuning in. As I say, heading back to Australia now. Our holiday's over, and back to work, and back to training for the next event. But yeah, we've had an amazing time, and yes, a big thank you to Albatross Adventure Marathons. Big thank you to everyone we met for making the experience just so incredible. We certainly were pretty sad when we left Iceland to say goodbye to everyone, because we had such a cool running crew, and yeah, super enjoyed it. So thank you to everyone that made mine and Clara's trip to Iceland just extra special. We can't wait to meet you all around the world in another run, and I can't wait to catch up with you guys and share on the podcast. But as always, until next time, happy running.